I'll call the meeting of the Social Services Subcommittee to order. Any declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Delegations are none scheduled. And the next is the report of the Director of Social Services, a new provincial municipal vision for social assistance. So go ahead.
So nice to see everybody. And I'm sorry that it's just one report, but I thought it was an important report to still hold a subcommittee for 1 month as opposed to get this information to you. And so I'm bringing forward this report to introduce the province's proposed vision for social assistance that they have presented as part of the Provincial Municipal Human Services Collaborative. And the plan that they have presented will roll out over the next several years with the potential end date of 2024. But as you can see from the map, there's a lot of different steps to this. So I wanted to bring it to Social Service Subcommittee's attention. Part of this vision includes which level of government is best positioned to deliver services in which they have put the province more in a better centered for the administration of the benefits, while municipalities will have a stronger advantage on person-centered systems because we understand the systems and the community. So this isn't really about taking benefits away from clients, rather administrating it different and being proactive with clients to stabilize their lives for more success in long-term sustainable employment versus having recidivism into the system. And the province has stated the next steps are to hire a consultant in mid-March that will do a roadmap to co-design the next 18 months for us. And they're hoping to have the transition plan for the next 5 years with this consultant. So I've included the current map with your, and I think it outlines the different phases, our current state, where you see what responsibility the municipality and the province has. And then as we phase 1, phase 2, and then finally, it's going to be the human services model, where you will see centralized provincial delivery, flexible human services up to the province. So the administration of benefits up to the province, and the municipalities, we will be looking at all social assistance clients, people in crisis, and other municipal programs to develop at a local level. So that's the report, and happy to hear of any questions or comments.
Anybody have any questions? Jody?
I guess just a general question of how you see this affecting the way things roll out locally. Do you feel like it'll be like the sum of the responsibility is going to be taken off your plate? And also I'm wondering how easy you think it will be for people to access services compared to the way it is now.
So through the chair, what I will say is I think it's, I really like the notion of delivering life stabilization at a community level. I think it will be a change for us, absolutely, as we know through the employment integration that we will see employment move out. We will then be responsible for life stabilization. I think it will be similar. I don't foresee that we won't help with the provincial end of getting people onto assistance. So I know we tried this model 20 years ago where we uploaded the intake to the province. I think technology has changed enough that we could, we will use the internet, B, the phone, but we will not lose the supports at a local level to help people access the income end. What the key, what they are stating is this will give our caseworkers, and I'm using whether they'll call caseworkers, more time to work with clients versus less administration.
Well, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And we will be concentrating on the life stabilization of the people that come through our office.
Well, that sounds like a good thing in theory, but like, am I understanding that the people will be doing their paperwork out like on their own type thing then?
I, depending on their ability, the abilities or needs, most of the administration will be uploaded to the province. So yes, again, cognizant that there may be people that need support. I do not anticipate. I do anticipate that we will help support that as well.
I have a real concern with that. Like, you know, keeping it here at the local level where we can help the people. Yeah, it's a great idea that we can have more time just to work with the people, not do administration, but I don't know. I just think I think people are going to get lost in the provincial internet, I guess to say, websites.
That we have expressed some concern at this, and I think yes, so I think we have to be cognizant at a municipal level that there's potential for issues like this and ensure that the supports are put in place and not forget about that there's still going to be that need.
Boy, because I don't know, in some ways I think it might create more work, but we'll have to see what happens, I guess. Like, we don't have a choice, right?
No, sorry, no, but the province has outlined this roadmap, yes.
Does anybody else have any questions or concerns?
I was
just, if I may, through the chair, I think technology has, as the director mentioned, has come a long way, that I'm not fearful of that. I certainly like the ideas under municipalities delivering the, you know, more life stabilization pieces than the technology piece. It gives you more time with the individual. So I'm certain the technology will take care of itself. Well, with our support, I guess.
And I guess I just worry that if they can't do it, then they won't get the support because they're not even registered or not there. So I don't know. We'll just have to see how it rolls out, but I'm really worried about it. Jody?
Yeah, I think it would be important that the province would understand that if they're doing all the administrative and then there's a portal of some sort that on the local level that we would be, that they would acknowledge that's part of the workload that's going to be what we're doing, just helping people navigate that system, and that they don't expect us to do that for free. But that is actually part of what people that work for social services are paid to do, and not just be expected to provide support without being paid for it. So that would be something to, I don't know, there doesn't seem to be a mechanism for input on this, but if there was, that would be one thing I would be concerned about.
Graham? You're not muted. Oh, there you go. I mean, you are muted. Go ahead. You're muted again. There you go.
There you go. All right. Thank you very much. Through the chair. My mind goes back quite a number of years to that debacle called SAMS. I think it was called SAMS. And it probably still haunts you to this day. Has there been any other things that have been done at the provincial level, like other systems that they've come up with between then and now, that would give someone a good feeling that they're actually going to get it right this time?
Through the chair, there's a couple things. First of all, I'll go even further back than SAMS, and I would look towards where we went with the downloading of the FBA family benefits allowance onto the municipality. So that's the one area I would take a look at historically on this and how that went. SAMS, what I will say, where I've seen the change and the awareness within the province is we are doing pilots with different municipalities. And Alex, I'm going to get you to jump on and talk about the municipalities that have already started the centralized benefits and just to explain that. So the biggest lesson learned that I can say from being around that long is that there has to be pilots and municipals to have that check and balance system. So do not put anything out province-wide at once. And as you can see with the roadmap, we've got from 2021 to 2024, where we can see steps happen, the centralized provincial functions that are going to happen, where we're going to see the upload, we're going to see the employment supports come out of the municipalities, and we'll put the case level, the casework level to life stability. And Alex, maybe you can speak about how the pilots are going in regards to the centralization of intake.
Of course, through the chair. So I'll start with SAMS as the one you kind of led with. So SAMS has kind of stabilized to this point where it is a little bit more manageable for us to stay on top of issues that arise in the SAMS. It's updated 4 to 5 times a year still, so it's far from a perfect system.
Yep.
But I will say that it has come a long way, and I think part of that is also in the user friendliness of it. It is not the most user friendly system, but I think we've grown to learn and adapt to it. And I think that's a big thing. And SAMS at this point does work as advertised. It does work as it's intended to. The errors we see that are large errors are very, very rare. They're not as often that we're seeing large errors come up. Some of the other things the province has done from a technology standpoint. So one of them is My Benefits. That's one that they've rolled out that they keep improving, which actually has done really well. I've brought that back to you guys. I believe it was just about a year and a half ago that we originally started talking about My Benefits. So they have done a much better job with that. We are seeing a smoother rollout of My Benefits at this point, and we are seeing that it is really working for our clients. We have at this point about just over 20% uptake in our caseload that is using My Benefits, which is good numbers for us in what we're seeing. The other thing that we've seen them really push is what's called decentralized intake. So it's a social assistance digital application. You'll hear me call it SADA, which is what they refer to it as. So SADA has been rolled out and piloted in a few municipalities since about November. We had initially spoken about, I believe it's September, that we had a conversation about centralized intake at that point. So we have now seen SADA roll out across, it's in about 7 municipalities right now. They're looking to onboard more municipalities at this point. There were some hiccups at first, but the nice thing with this version, like Kim mentioned, is they are prototyping first. So they're trying it with a very small subset of the population when it comes to the specific service managers they chose. They're seeing how it works in very specific service managers, and then they're scaling up from there. So it is a much more thorough process, which is nice because we're not seeing the same level of errors across the whole province. It's very controlled to the municipalities that it's in. And the most recent, what we've heard from one of the municipalities that we are close with, that we stay in touch with, they've seen about 50% of their applications being processed through SADA, and they're seeing much less problems with the applications that are being processed. So it's good news for us because we know that is the system that will be used primarily for centralized intake into the Ontario Works program. And they're seeing that it does work, and they are learning as they go to make sure that the system works correctly. So I would say that gives us that does give some hope that they're on this one, that they are going to do a much better job with the rollout. And we have seen with technology, they've taken their time to implement these systems and made sure they correct the errors as they go. And make sure that those errors aren't across 47 service managers. They're only at 5, 6, or 7, so we can really learn as we progress.
That's good to know. Thank you very much.
You're muted, Bonnie.
Sorry, Martin.
Maybe you're frozen now. All right. So may I move the staff recommendation?
Sure can. Any other questions or comments? I guess I have one more. Are other municipalities having concerns, and is anybody getting counsel to send recommendations?
So through the chair, I do sit on a provincial committee, and so municipalities do have input. So there's various committees I do sit on that we can upload the input. The other thing through Councillor Bunting is the provincial collaboration, the CMSMs speaking, they're keeping, the communication plan is very good on this. We are meeting regularly. We are able to give our feedback, ask, tell what we do like about this and where we do have concerns, so that it is being heard at the provincial level.
Is there anything we can do that you need from us?
What I will say right now, through the chair, what I will say right now is it is very gray. The details are just not there. I am waiting to see the plan, this bringing on this consultant and seeing how they do implement this vision is where we need to take a step back, watch how they implement, and then see where we need to go from there. It is very vague right now. We have the roadmap. We understand what the end goal is, but how do we get there is something we need to be very cognizant of and ensure that we have the supports we need in that. So we're just not very, it's very vague right now.
I just worry, you know, I understand local centralizing, like going for your license, doing your income tax and that, but I just feel this is a very vulnerable section of people, and you know, like, I don't know, I'm just worried that they won't get the same amount of help that they would at the local level, and then in turn it might actually double your work. But
so through the chair, I hope not. I mean, the vision definitely is the opposite of that. It's the vision is take the administration, as Councillor Button has said, where we're spending so much time administering the program, take that away, upload it to the province, and so that our caseworkers, our workers can actually be systems navigators and deal with life stability and help those that are in need. So right now the vision is that this will allow for more time for this.
I just worry, like, you know, people apply right now and then it gets reviewed. Like, I hope it doesn't end up turning out like, you know, they have to wait weeks or months or something to, you know, to get in for help. And because most time when people are applying, they're already at the bottom. You know, they've reached the bottom, and not many people plan like 2 or 3 months out or a year out that, hey, I'm going to go get some help in a month or two. It's all of a sudden they reach bottom and, oh my God, I've got no place to live. I've got no money, or this or that's happened to me. And I've never seen government respond quickly. You know, so I mean, I guess you do with your license plate and things like that if they're thinking that way of a turnaround. But
through the chair, that's why we will have to ensure that at the local level, there's still the ability to help navigate through the system on something like this, and ensure that there's resources, even with our partnering agencies, to have the recognition to support.
And through the chair, just a little update, just so maybe it gives you a little bit of confidence in the system. With the SATA applications that are being processed right now, they are meeting the 4-day window that the province sets out in our legislation. Most are being processed within about 2 business days of the time that they are received. Those are being done by the centralized intake unit, which is called IBOW. So they are being processed at that level, and they're being done within 2 business days in the municipalities that are currently processing. Again, I'm speaking to only one municipality that I have kind of confirmed information from, but just to give you a little bit of hope that it is being done in a quick manner. It's not a long process for our clients who are applying. That it does still have the ability to be flexible and in a nice responsive program in the way that they are kind of moving ahead.
So how many municipalities are they testing this on right now? You know?
Through the chair, I believe it's 7. Am I correct?
And there's what, 444?
No,
Let's break that down actually.
40 down, not 40, there's 47 CMSMs.
Oh, I guess I've never really thought about that before. Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense because we take care of per occurrence. So they break, oh, yeah, okay. So they break it down more like the health unit type thing. Yeah. So
Sorry,
there's what did you say, 47?
47.
So there's a bit more than the health unit, so it breaks it down a bit more than that. Oh, okay. And they're trying it on 7. Okay, so. Well, do we know when they're gonna actually start it?
Start the centralized intake?
Yeah.
Okay, so where it was moving forward, and I'm going to look to Alex, it was going to move forward as of April this year, but there's been kind of some quietness on that sense. It was my understanding with the next rollout. And Alex, have you heard anything that I'm missing on that?
Through the chair, they are looking at onboarding municipalities kind of over the course of this year. So right now they're asking for volunteers to onboard into the centralized intake process so they could continue testing and scale up the model. The initial idea was to be scaled up by now, but they are kind of taking it a tad bit slower. We have not heard a firm date when we will be uploaded at this point. And locally, we're just trying to look at what makes the most sense for our office. So no decisions have been made as of yet from our end about when we will put our name forth in that model.
Will this mostly affect, well, I guess it'll affect everybody. I was thinking new intakes, but it'll actually affect everybody because they still have their monthly reports and everything, right? Like are the monthly reports still going to be collected by our office, or will that also be part of this transition?
Through the chair, we basically at this point, there's only monthly reports submitted for individuals who actively have income to report. Otherwise, we use what's called an income reporting exemption, so they do not have to submit a monthly income reporting statement if there is no change to their income source. Those can also be submitted via My Benefits or through the IVR telephone line. So there's a multiple options for someone to get that information in, and submitting through My Benefits directly uploads those documents into SAMS, and they can be processed from there. So it is a very quick process for someone to turn those things around. But at this point, there isn't as much monthly reporting as there once was in the program. They've been able to move away from that very reporting heavy onus falls on the client to report monthly, and they've moved to a more of a risk-based approach over the last few years.
Well, they have changed things too, especially I think it started mostly this year where, you know, your income and whatever isn't affected till what, the next year, isn't it? Or a couple months later or something? I forget how that was. Remember how they just changed that? If you had a change in your income, it didn't affect you right away?
Sorry, through the chair, that's not through the Socialist Ontario Works program.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
do think you're alluding to the changes coming to housing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, it's been a while since we've met.
Okay, we have multiple programs to deliver, but yes, yeah, the Ontario Works is the income is within the month declared.
Is anybody else, Brian, Graham?
And just a quick question with respect to the centralization, is it all out of one particular office, like one system? They haven't broken it down into Eastern Ontario, Southwestern Ontario, Central Ontario, Northern Ontario. So if it goes down, everybody's down, right?
Through the chair, yes. So it is being done through one centralized unit that's administered through the Ministry of Children, Community, and Social Services. And they are using SAMS to implement the program. So in the same sense, if SAMS is down, infrequent, I do want to say that it's not very often that SAMS is down. But if SAMS was down, then yes, that would affect the ability to issue benefits. But it also, that does happen currently at times. If SAMS goes down for a very brief period, we're able to move to paper applications. I'm assuming they would take a very similar approach.
What do you consider brief?
Through the chair, the longest we've seen SAMS down in the last little bit would probably be half an hour, 20 minutes at most. We generally don't see much longer than that. Sometimes it's a very simple fix, and a lot of times it's just an outage at the provincial level. We would see a very quick turnaround. We generally don't see longer than 15, 20 minutes at very most.
Oh, okay. So how do you know? So, does anybody else have any other questions or concerns? Ryan, I see you're in the audience. Do you have any concerns? I'm not actually able. Is he able to? Do you have
I
anything?
think I see my mute button just appear there. So I'm thankful that I have the opportunity to learn about what's happening here on the call. I know Kim and I have spoken about it before, but you know, anything that we can do to help serve people on the front line, I think is wonderful. And so the one thing that I think is good about this, despite maybe some potential pitfalls, depending on how it rolls out, is seeing ODSP clients supported locally as opposed through the provincial office. I know there is a small Stratford office, but having at least some experience talking with clients and their experience with ODSP, I would say that the municipal social services does a much better job of serving the clients, perhaps because they have the capacity to do so and they know the people better, all those sorts of things. I think it's a great team, and I think this part of it is something that we certainly support from the United Way side of things.
Thanks, Ryan. I just wondered if you had any questions or concerns yourself, because I know you're very active in taking care of our people.
Were you watching me walk on my treadmill the whole time I was on here? I can't tell what you guys can see.
No, we can't see you.
Oh, good. I'm lucky.
You'd have to have your, I don't know how that works, actually. Well, seeing no other questions or comments, all in favor? Is there anything else you want to bring up, Kim? Or?
I will tell you what's up and coming, what we can look for towards next month. I've had Alex and I are working on a report on the SSRF funding, so we can look forward to that the next month, and the added supports that we've been able to do to help with within the community as we continue to experience pressures with homelessness and precariously housed through the pandemic. So we will be bringing a report forward on that next month. And again, knowing Ryan's on this call as well, how great our partnerships have stepped up and helped us through these times in order to provide the supports as we see ever increasing numbers within the emergency accommodations.
Now, I'm not. Should I bring this up now about Indewell, or should I wait for the corporation housing committee?
I can try and answer, or I may have to bring it back to you. But if you want to bring a question up, that's.
I'm just curious, like, so we're working on doing Britannia Street project this year.
Yes.
Are we considering and looking at the fact that we could start to look at doing a development like they had in Woodstock, similar to that?
So through the chair, there's a couple things. We've got the Britannia 2. We're still waiting on the rapid housing investment, which will be 8 supportive units as well.
Right.
And, as Ryan knows, we continuously are looking at supportive housing. We've identified the needs. We've been talking to the LIN. Supportive housing, as we can tell, is much needed, not only in this community, throughout the province. So it continues to be on our radar. We have met with Indewell to hear what their programming is, and it's a matter of addressing what's going to be the best fit for our community. Yes.
So are we looking at that like in, say, 2022, 2023, or just kind
of? Through the chair, we are looking at it now, and if again, it comes down to capital dollars, what comes through the province. So I think there's a few reports that are going to come forward with Stratford Invest and just looking where the funding is going to come from.
Well, I think it's important that maybe part of it we should be looking at that we put a bigger budget item forward during budget time towards securing more homes. Jody?
Thanks. Yeah, that actually kind of segues right into a couple of things that I wanted to mention. As you know, I'm very interested in green sort of initiatives, and I've been digging around in the FCM on their website to take a look and see what programs they have, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. And they do actually have a Green Municipal Fund, and I'm not quite sure if you've looked at that. Maybe it would apply to Britannia Street or possibly other ones. There's 5 different ones that look like grants from the Green Municipal Fund that would apply to social housing. So, and I don't know, the deadlines are always, they come and go quickly, I think, these funding opportunities. So it's like, oh, maybe I should pass this along since I've seen it. Might be something to look at. Some of it is retrofitting existing housing, which is, I think we really need to do some of as well. So, and one of them is actually even just having someone come in and help make a plan of how that might happen with retrofitting. But there's also for new housing initiatives as well. So yeah, just a tidbit about that. And then one other thing, somebody a couple weeks ago sent me through. So I've had a person, a single mom who was looking at, it was really interested in the housing purchase program and so on. And she ended up sending me a link. There is a project in the city of Toronto that is specific for single mothers. And it's a housing initiative. And it would be, I would imagine, people that are on certain supports or whatever. And I know that we're not as big as Toronto, and we probably wouldn't be able to have an entire project that's just dedicated to that. But I was wondering if with Britannia too, if we could maybe consider that being a particular group of people that might need access to affordable housing. And if there's some way that we can prioritize that. Because we do have, like, for instance, we have things through the shelter, but not every single parent is in need or is able to access those. But especially recently separated and divorced people, it can be a real challenge finding housing, especially in the current situation. So I don't know if it's possible for us to look at a specific way to approach that or help people that are in that situation.
Okay, thank you. I will look into, I am familiar with the FCM. I'm not as familiar with the Toronto project. I'll look into that.
I can send you an email. I could just send you what she sent me.
Okay, yes. And as I said, it's, yeah, I mean, the needs are definitely out there on various population, various levels, but if you want to send me that link, I will read up on that for you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Anything else? Well, I guess we can look at adjournment. Graham? Oh, did you want something, Kim? Oh, you wanted.
I apologize. I was waving goodbye. Nice to see everybody, but I'll let you adjourn it first. Thank you.
All in favor? Thanks, everybody. Good talk and nice seeing everybody.